Hello, this is Eddie with Fast Eddies. We're here looking at a washer. Um, if you have like a Whirlpool, I think they're Cabrios, some of them Cabrios, even Maytags. This is a Kenmore. Um, but basically, if you have like this kind of control setup on yours, okay, you got the lights down here. I think I've looked at one of these before, showed on video how to diagnose it and where the manual is on it. But this is a problem I want to share with you guys. Basically, if you see all these lights here and you have a little start button and dial, okay, you want to pay attention to this little scenario here, okay? Because if you got this scenario, you probably have this set up, okay? And they have a bunch of different names, okay, on the names of the washers. Um, but like I said, this is a Kenmore, and they don't even have like a special like type name. It's just a Kenmore washer. Um, but and they have like a Maytag Bravos. May have another name for the Maytags. Um, but this one, um, basically, the complaint was it didn't want to spin out. Was also making a grinding noise, uh, a growling noise, that kind of stuff, or even chattering. There's another complaint I've heard before. Um, but basically, what you're going to be looking at is there's a drive on the bottom. Okay, there's a bolt that comes loose from the spin. I guess you want to say the spin shaft. Okay, the drive shaft on it, and it basically loosens up a pulley. And whenever that thing comes loose, then it backs off the pulley to some teeth that help the part of the basket drive, and that's what happens. You start to hear them teeth chatter against that or grind against the other teeth. The two sets of teeth, gripping together, they chatter across each other. Okay, um, so there's a couple different ways you can go about it. One is you just put some Loctite on the bolts and put it back together. Now this particular washer, when we start it up, we're going to put it on drain and spin. Okay, and you're going to hear it right away when when it spins up that motor. You don't hear anything. You hear the motor spin up, but no traction. Like you normally should hear the tub move, or the agitation happen, and it doesn't. But that was a real quick and easy way to see that within just a few minutes. You can tell, if you're going to have that kind of an issue. Um, we're going to go underneath here. I'm going to pause this, and we're going to go underneath and we're going to see what we see. So as you can see, the belt just came off that pulley. That nut is loosened up. What happens is that can actually tear up the teeth on that drive. And on this one, I decided to just go ahead and replace the parts because I'm thinking that that's messed with the teeth on this one because it went so long. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove this assembly here. So takes a 5/16 head on that. You wouldn't imagine how hard it's be trying to do this with one hand. It's amazing. I'm just gonna kind of feel for it here. Pretty good. See. It ain't terrible, but it could be better. You can see a little bit of, on the edge of that. Let's see if we can get you closer here. Yeah, you can see it a little bit there. Kind of chewed them up a little bit. Um, really, the best thing is to just go ahead and replace it. I mean, I don't want to have no other issues. I don't want this customer having another issue from here. So let's just place it. So I'm just, these little snaps here, I'm going to pop these snaps out. Sometimes I have to get something up in there. So that just pops out of there. You kind of push up on that little tab there, the little hook, get it off of there. And that's a separate piece. Notice that the little tabs are facing downward. Everything's facing downward. And you got a spring behind it. You got a spring behind it. So, when the new one goes on, now we'll put this back together here. It comes in a kit. Each a new bolt, or nut, I mean. New spring. You're going to take your spring and go ahead and push it up on there just like so. Then you're going to hold it with your thumb. Kind of just finagle it on there. Get your ring. Make sure you aim these down. Now you take that ring, put that on there just like so. Actually, you kind of want to finagle that on there. You kind of see I'm going to push in on this with one finger or two hands. Actually, we're just going to pull that ring loose first. See how I'm doing that? And I'm going to put that ring on there. Let's try to do it like that. Yeah, see. There's probably 100 ways you could probably get that on there. Basically, you need to have the spring behind this. And you got to hook that on there. These have got to be aimed down. Okay? Now, take our little part that holds that together, and the little slit goes over the top of that tab. It goes on that we're going to call this a tab here. It goes over the top of that. All right. Like so. And how this works is when this motor, okay, and it's got some switches up in here, okay. There's also a little sensor up inside here for your spin. It's a little eye. You got basically the eye senses. It's basically just got a ring with pieces of metal on it, and the eye senses the pieces running through it. Because it cuts off the laser across it. It's got two little sensors in there, and it just senses it has a little laser that goes across, and then yeah, and that's how it senses the speed, because it senses the how many times it gets blocked, the eye gets blocked. There's no real good way to show you that right here, so we're not going to address that today. Now, then we got a new pulley. Okay. And notice this new one, the new piece here, you can tell it's got like, it has your, see, like this has, has a bevel to it, and then it's supposed to have like a piece that comes straight up. And if you look at these, you can see how it has a piece of, it's straight, like you got the bevel, and then you have a straight piece. Where it's not beveled. I mean, it's just a piece of flat. But on this one, that's worn off. So that's the main reason why we're replacing that. That and these pulleys will waller when that gets loose. If you look at the pulleys, you can see how that's wallered out. There's no there's no louvers there. It's all been worn off. So that's another reason why you go ahead and replace the pulley. Go ahead and replace this. Now, if you want to hurry up and get by with it, you could just take and pull that nut off and put some Loctite on it, slap it back together, and it'd be good to go. But we want this thing fixed permanently. All right. So everything fits together. We test fitted it, made sure it all worked together. Now we're gonna take our blue Loctite, okay? We'll put it on the shaft. Oh no, is that right? That's weird. I'm not used to having like a lipstick, like a chapstick container. Usually it's like a bright blue instead of a baby blue. This container is just like that. This is a brand new container, so. Normally it's like a royal blue instead of a baby, so that's a little new to me on that one. Okay, so we're gonna put our pulley on it. Get our nut started. That Loctite is very important. Don't even try it without putting that Loctite on it. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to use my impact gun on this. If you were doing this, you'd have to grab something. What I like to do is I'll take, which you want to be really gentle when you do this. What you do is you take like a pair of pliers or something, okay? Because you can tear this up really easy, okay? So don't. When you hear me say this, don't do this and tear your stuff up. Be gentle, okay? Because you can only do so much. But what I would do is kind of get it. You see that? Get your pressure against that motor with your pliers, and I grab on that, okay? Not so much so that you make indentions and tear it up, but you see how I'm grabbing at an angle, okay, on that? And I'm squeezing down, okay? I'm squeezing pretty hard. You can see me flexing on that. And that's about what I do, and I don't make no Mars on it. And I would just take your ratchet, I grab it like that, okay? Actually, it would be more like this, and I would take my ratchet and go and work my way underneath that. But I get to cheat. If you have an impact gun, then great. You don't have to worry about it. It's on there. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, now we've got our belt. Now our belt's a little chewed up. On one side, it's got a groove on it a little bit, but it's still good. That's not going to hurt anything. Now you can replace it if you feel like it, but I've not had to replace one of these belts yet. No, I take that back. I've had to replace one of these belts so far. And I don't know that it was so much that as it was there was other things underneath the washer and caused more issues. So. Now there's still stuff in this washer, so I'm having to finagle with it a little bit here. Okay, now you just kind of pull it up on there, rotate it around, make sure it's in the grooves on the motor. Now you notice how I made sure the belt was pulled up onto that motor first, and then I pushed it up onto this as I was rotating it. You just kind of catch it up on there, and then you take your cover. There's a little, pay attention to those. They kind of just fit up in there, not in the screw hole, because you got two holes. You got two holes. You got a bare hole, and then you got a screw hole. And you want to make sure you put that up in the bare hole, not the screw hole. My tips are magnetic, so I'll just put it up on there. Get my screw started. I got that one. I fill around this backside one. Now I know that's loose like that. That is not going to hurt anything, okay? I think it's better left there than not, to be honest. I mean, if you get something up in there, at least you're going to hear that hitting instead of it getting wrapped up in it. I don't want to remove it. At least if you have it there, you're going to be hitting this and not whatever you're putting up in there, okay? The whole point of that is to keep it from like getting a shoelace up in there or something, wrapping up in there. So, you know, if somebody gets up underneath it, it's to keep things out of it when it's rotating. So, I wouldn't spend the money, you know, $10 or $15 or $20 or whatever they want to charge for it. And here's the deal: if I go order something like that, I'm gonna be waiting on it. This is not something you want to wait on. This is something just go ahead and fix it for them. This is never going to cause a problem. It's still performing its duty, which is keeping stuff out of it. And if you ever get something in there, it's going to make noise, much like what it would do if it wasn't chewed up a little bit. Again, that Loctite is so important. Without that Loctite, this thing will come apart again. It's a guaranteed will come apart again. I mean, I put these things on there so tight. Yeah. And they still come off. So that is, like I said again, that is important. Thanks to my customers for letting me make videos in your homes. I do appreciate it. I'll do one more check here. Everything looks good. We're going to put it back down here. Slide it right back. I know most people are not going to be able to do that. A lot of people probably won't be able to do that just like I did it. I'm just showing you an easy way to do it. Okay, back up top here. Go ahead and cancel this last cycle out. start over. You can hear it. You hear the motor. Kind of had a drag to it. You can tell it had a connection. We'll probably fast forward through some of this because I don't want to have to just let you hear it pump the whole time. Hear it drive. You probably can't hear it over the pump. It's off balance, you can hear it bouncing around. Once this thing fills up, has a chance to run again, it'll balance itself out. I wonder if you can hear that. Hear that now? Okay. There's proof. It's working now. I just wanted to show you this is working. I also wanted to touch base on something here. I got sidetracked whenever I started talking about that speed sensor on the bottom of this thing. That mechanism works the little skinny ring back and forth. It basically has, you know, bevels in it, and it forces against that the outer piece that snaps on, and it pushes the spring-loaded centerpiece forward and back to catch the teeth on the pulley. That pulley has two ways it catches. It catches on the center shaft and on those little teeth that go into that that thing that moves back and forth, the actuator there. Now, whenever it's agitating, it's just working on that center shaft, the one that's it's screwed to. Whenever it's spinning, it's working against that. It's you know, it's locked into that the actuated piece. But that's kind of how the assembly works. I'm sorry, I should have went further over that. Thank you very much. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. You know, we need them. I'm gonna have more videos, so subscribe. You know, we do, you know, all over automotive to electronics to, you know, washers, dryers, refrigerators. We're gonna have it all. So, yeah, stay tuned.